Right now could be a great time to move your Ethereum to exchanges if you have $50, $100, $150 in various different wallets trapped, and you felt like the fees were too high. It's about 50 cents to send Ethereum right now, and that's the lowest I've seen it in a long, long time. We know when there's periods of congestion and we're in these kind of bull markets, suddenly you're trapped, you can't move, you can't swap out, you can't bridge out, and it is just way too expensive to utilize the Ethereum network or the Bitcoin network. Well, right now, this is your chance with Ethereum, and that is one of the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of clean up some of these various little Ethereum wallets where I had, various amounts sort of stuck there. And, you could move it to the Binance Smart Chain, Phantom, Avalanche, and you could interact with it as tokenized Ethereum. You could send it to an exchange and then maybe set sell orders if you think that it's gonna it's gonna bang hard. Kind of the last part of this bull market that we're gonna have. And by no means do I think that this whole market cycle is over. I think that this was like sort of this early kind of wave that started a year early because of the ETF products and all the chatter behind that and all the excitement and hype and stuff like that. So we got started a lot earlier. A lot of people were out of position. People took some early kind of wins here. We've had some drawdowns. Germany had a bunch of Bitcoins that they were selling, and it seemed like that kind of really kind of knocked the price down around July 4th. And then we've got the Mt. Gox coins, 9 billion worth of them that are going to be released. And it's crazy. It took 10 years for this whole thing to play out with Mt. Gox, and it's been this continued sort of haunting situation. And after, I've been in crypto over 10 years. When I first got in, it was 2013, and then the Mt. Gox collapsed in 2014. I was never on Mt. Gox, but I've ran into several people that were, and so they've been waiting a long, long time. And for better or for worse, maybe it helped them hodl, through all this time, and they felt like they were never going to get it back. And then it might be a kind of a little bit of a windfall here for them. So whether they sell, whether they just ride the rest of this cycle out, it's hard to say. And I would say it's probably a mixed bag. Some people might take some profits, or maybe they just keep it and then borrow against it. And that's the thing that you need to realize. In the time that they lost their coins, they could not borrow against really the Bitcoins and the Ethereum is easy, or you couldn't, leverage these assets, I should say. So you couldn't borrow against the Bitcoins. Now they could just keep their position and they could borrow against it if they need some cash, or if they want to play in the altcoin space or do some other stuff, maybe with DeFi or various different things. You could have it tokenized on the Binance Smart Chain, on Avalanche, on Phantom, on these various different smart contract platforms. Layer ones, you got some options. Or you could go more of kind of a centralized route and post it as collateral on more of a centralized type, type, setup or whatever. So anyway, that being said, I do not think we're going to go crazy, crazy low. The last couple years, I've not been able to predict how low the stuff is going to go, as well as I was in the 2016, 2017, 2018 cycle, or kind of those time frames. And so I don't want to get too aggressive saying we're going to go crazy, crazy low with Bitcoin, because I don't think that, I think this is just a breather kind of this summer and then into this fall. And I would say that maybe we go as low as 45 or 46,000. I wouldn't really kind of risk it much lower than that, because it's just getting too close. This isn't, we've got a year to a year and a half to kind of finish out the peak of the cycle. And this isn't the time to necessarily be kind of betting that it's going to go down into the 30s at this point. Now, could it go down to 39? Could it go down to 35,000? It could, but it's going to be such a quick wick. It's kind of like even, this past week, for it to go down to 53, it was very quick. All this happens, you pretty much have to have orders in place out on the exchanges to kind of catch these lower wicks and stuff like that. So that being said, 45, 46 maybe. I don't really see it going a lot lower than that. Obviously, the alts got beaten up, and there's a lot of opportunity there. Litecoin, got clear down to 58. That's a pretty low kind of mark for Litecoin, and it's kind of, historically. So there could be an opportunity there to pick that up. Solana, there's a lot of activity on Solana, but you get these lower amounts. It's not a bad idea to sit there and start, building your stack, building your stack, building your stack. ICP, when I really kind of found out about ICP last kind of more October, it was like $3, but it was about 30th on CoinGecko. Now it's around 30th again. So it's really kind of retraced itself in sort of like relation to everything else on the market. But the coins that were pre-sold and this various different thing, those pre-sale coins aren't going to be done releasing until about June of 2025. So we'll still have a year of various coins being released, and some of that stuff was sold at a very cheap amount. So these investors could, kind of take part of their profits and maybe put the rest in, stack it and become part of the 8-year gang with some of it. And you can earn about 15% locking your coins up for 8 years. I know it sounds like an insane amount. 8 years. I mean, 6 months is an eternity in crypto, and 8 years is like 6 life sentences. So I don't, I see advantages of it, but also see disadvantages of doing that if things don't go right with the project. That being said, there's various different strategies, and you'd have to see what other people are doing with those strategies on ICP. And I mentioned this last video. So a lot of the stuff like Open Chat, Ghost, these various different tokens that are on ICP, they are listed on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap now, which definitely helps. If something spikes, then people kind of notice it, and then they kind of, well, what's this? It's on the internet computer. So that helps a lot, get visibility, and lets people kind of track various different things if they didn't know how to do that, and they're mainly using CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. Other things, that I could say, like, Hive. So this is another thing. So it's been hovering around this kind of 20-cent mark, and that is historically very, very low. It has not been down there since about 2021. So those are very, very low amounts. Somebody could kind of orchestrate a play there, stacking a lot of Hive, earning a lot and stuff like that. But even on this first part of the cycle, it really did not hit an upper channel peak. I mean, it did a little bit, started to crank up, but it was very swift. So, again, you got various different strategies with different altcoins, and, it is hard to pick your strategy for a lot of this stuff. But at the end of the day, so Doge has kind of lost about 50% of its peak in this first part of the cycle. Got up over 20 cents. Now it's fallen down to 10 cents. So you really think like, well, we would assume that it would kind of get up above 40 or 50 cents, kind of the last part of the cycle, or to finish the cycle out. And so that could be a 4 or 5x on something that has a very, very large market cap and is very well established. It's on every exchange, and it's tokenized, and stuff like the Binance Smart Chain. So, and, if X gets their whole kind of payment rails kind of set up, and they have already sort of applied to be money transmitter licenses on these various different states and stuff. So eventually we assume that, X is going to have the ability to essentially be a crypto wallet or transfer crypto. And, with Elon Musk owning it, we can assume that Doge is going to be a part of that future. So, there are a lot of opportunities I see, and I feel like right now is not a time to necessarily check out of crypto. I think you should be doing everything you can to potentially stack more crypto. And we've got a year to a year and a half before we see kind of the ultimate peak and that blow off top, in my opinion. And I think just along with what we've seen before, 4-year cycle, we're going to see it mid to late 2025. So I think we're going to have an extra opportunity, and we do right now. We have a great opportunity right now to stack more and get ourselves in a position, do everything we can to do that and try to play that out, stuff like that. So anyway, guys, what are you stacking? Are you moving your Ethereum to exchanges and setting sell orders? Are you switching it to tokenized Ethereum on other chains, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, Phantom? Or just getting out of it altogether because you want greener pastures and you want a bigger multiple on various other investments? What are you guys doing? Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steemit, Twitter, Hive, DTube, Blur, everywhere. See you guys.